the Health Services Career Panel. My name is Erica Warren, and we've lined up some amazing panelists today to talk to you about their careers in health services. When we think about careers in health services, we often think about doctors and nurses, but there is so much more to explore in this career field. So today, we're going to learn about some interesting opportunities that you might not be aware of. But first, let me introduce our host. Today's host is Mario Lopez. Mario was the 2020-2021 Pacific Region Youth of the Year. He attends the University of California, Berkeley, and is studying molecular and cell biology to eventually become a neurologist. His experience and interests are the perfect match for this health services career panel. Now I'm going to hand it off to Mario to introduce our panelists, and then we'll jump into a conversation to help us all learn about these exciting careers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mario Lopez, and today I'm joined by Kaliya Alfred to hear more about her nursing career. Kaliya, what does your nursing career look like now, and what education did you obtain to get there?
Hi, Mario. I am currently a labor and delivery travel nurse. Before that, I went to school at Georgia Southern University, and I got my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. After that, I took the NCLEX, which is the state boards for nursing, or the national board for nursing. After passing that exam, I had 6 months of training to become a labor and delivery nurse at Wellstar Cobb Hospital.
Can you describe to us what your job entails and what the day-to-day experiences of your job looks like? And most importantly, kind of what led you to decide a career as a nurse, especially as a labor and delivery nurse, as well as a travel nurse?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I was passionate about labor and delivery since high school. I learned a lot about the likelihood of women of color to die in childbirth is 3 times more likely than our counterparts. So I first and foremost wanted a career that I felt like I could make a difference and do something about, make a change. So I went into labor and delivery for that. Since then, I care for all women, and I feel like I, am able to make a difference in the births of so many different women and care for women in ways that I feel like is compassionate and the way that I would want to be cared for. So I went into that career for that. But nursing, you can go into anything. And I feel like it's a job that you could, work on brains, work on the heart, care for babies, like you can never get bored. So, it's a job that like really works for someone who, wants something that they could always make a change.
I want to ask, were there any reasons that led you to pursue a career in travel nursing after working in a hospital setting?
Yeah, I think for me, 2020 was really that like pivot of wanting to experience things beyond just like my home. So I really wanted to learn more, meet different groups of people, and the opportunity to travel while also making some extra money was really sold it for me. And while I was traveling, I went to San Francisco, which is like almost 4,000 miles away from home. I was able to, learn about different cultures, caring for people of different cultures than I get the opportunity to in New York City. And I feel like I grew a lot as a nurse as well. So I truly love traveling and getting to, every time I go to a new city, I learn something new that I didn't know. I get to experience something exciting and new. So definitely love it.
We love to hear it over here. Since becoming a travel nurse, how has becoming a travel nurse changed your quality of life? Have you seen differences in both your work settings and your own personal life that you think added value and kind of made you realize like this is the career you wanted to choose?
Yeah, for sure. I think one, traveling to different cities and states has its own like excitement, being young and being able to like, I don't know, like the world is your oyster, being able to say where you want to go next and being able to experience that. There's, nothing like it. It does come with sacrifices though. You're not close to your family. If I had kids, I wouldn't be able to take them with me everywhere. So it does come with sacrifices, but truly, my quality of life has changed significantly. And I think also just monotony, like it's not boring. I am never ever bored. I'm always in a new city. I'm always meeting new people and growing as a nurse because everywhere I go, I learn something new. They do something different. There's something like to be learned from every city and every person that I come across. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And for those who don't know, could you go ahead and describe for us kind of what it means like to travel as a travel nurse and kind of the process behind that in terms of placements, or if you decide where you want to work, or if your company decides where you want to work, for those who might be interested in those kind of logistics. And moreover, or kind of what the general, I guess, schedule of a travel nurse looks like week to week or month to month, and even year to year.
Yeah, so for starters, as a nurse, once you like pass your exam, that exam is basically good for every state. You're like a registered nurse in, the United States. Each state has, different requirements. So if you want to work like in California, let's say, you would have to pay that price of that license for that state, and they would just basically verify your education in Georgia. The cool thing about getting a license in Georgia is you have something called a compact state license, which allows you to travel to 20 states, or last time I checked, it was 20. It's probably more now, but Florida, Alabama, and there's no additional requirements. You are licensed in all of those states. So that's something really cool, being a registered nurse in Georgia. You get your compact state. And day to day, I work 12-hour shifts, 3 days a week, which sounds really amazing, but that fourth day, I basically just sleep. So 3 12-hour shifts, so 7 to 7 usually, and you get the opportunity to either work day shift or night shift. I usually work my 3 days in a row so that I can kind of couple my days off and be able to either go home or do some exploring in the city that I'm in. And then those contracts are usually 12 weeks, so 3 months. So not enough time for you to get bored. And then at the end, if you like the hospital and they like you, then usually you can get the opportunity to stay at a hospital. So I've stayed at hospitals for 6 months before, and sometimes once my 12 weeks are over, I'm ready to go. So it has to be like a mutual agreement between you and the hospital to stay. And then if you want to take time off, you don't have to, negotiate with anyone or anything like that. Like, you're a free bird, so you can do whatever you want until you're ready to apply for that next contract.
That's very interesting. Almost exciting. I would love to travel. So I love the idea of that, of course. And I've seen nurses before in hospital settings, and let me tell you, those 12-hour shifts can get very long, and it's very impressive what nurses can do.
Thank you.
It says, what do you think is most important to you in choosing and staying with that career path? Like, what priorities did you have in determining whether you want to stay in a hospital or continue as a travel nurse? And even in the future, where do you think your guys' priorities will differ in the future as well?
So definitely travel nursing, lots of sacrifices. You're away from your family, you're away from your friends. I've definitely missed, birthday parties. I'd say last year I prioritized having holidays off. So I didn't work at Christmas, I didn't work at New Year's, I didn't work at Thanksgiving, and I had the opportunity to come back and see my family. This year I'm prioritizing day shift. So I always worked night shift. And this year, for me, quality of life for me looks more like, working day shift, being able to come home and like spend time with my friends and family. And I also took a contract closer to home to spend more time with friends and family. So I think those priorities change year to year. Last year's priority was seeing more of the world and making more money. And this year's priority is, what's most important to me right now. So that's the other cool thing about nursing, is you always have the opportunity to pivot and change and choose something that, closer aligns with you. And I think in the future, I'll probably go and get my master's and become a midwife.
That's great to hear. Kaliya, did you want to mention how your experiences was in an inpatient setting? I believe you were in a hospital for 2 years. And how was that experience for you? Did you only work outpatient or inpatient? And what kind of, takeaways did you learn from those two?
But there are so many different options that you can go into in nursing. And even in inpatient, if you have an interest in anything, there is a field for you. You can work with just geriatric, which is like older people. You can work just on the brain, just on the heart. I work just labor and delivery, but even in the women's center, there's people who just do lactation and work with breastfeeding, people who only work with babies. So if there's a niche, like, nursing has it for you for sure. And if you don't want to do any of that, there's outpatient, and you can just give shots or just give whatever you want. There's an opportunity for that. And I've only worked inpatient, so I don't have any experience anywhere else. I've always worked in the hospital. And with labor and delivery, for the most part, as a nurse, your options are really just in the hospital or in a home birth setting. So currently I've only worked in a hospital, but I do know that I have friends across all works of life. I have a friend that only does burns. She works on a burn unit. So there's opportunities for you to go anywhere and to grow as a nurse, either in management or, go back to school and become the practitioner. So, you're never plateaued in nursing.
I think that's one of the reasons why nursing and more even healthcare careers are becoming a lot more pivotal, is what I'm recognizing, is that careers in healthcare don't just have to stop at one job, that they add on to each other. And the more experience you have, the more you are able to pivot and choose a career, an interest that you're liking. But was there ever a day or a moment where you got out of your shift and you realized, yeah, this is the right career, and I'm really happy I stuck through it? And what lesson did you learn from that day, or just the feeling it brought to you, knowing that you are making a difference and doing so much to help not only the patient, but the hospital staff and everyone around you?
I feel like I get little reminders that I'm at the right place at the right time, doing exactly what I am designed to do. Probably at least once a week, when a patient gives you gratitude and tells you how thankful you are. But I think a huge moment for me was 2020. I delivered a baby in the subway. And I had that feeling of I was designed to do this. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm designed to do. And then afterwards, I walked into work, and she was supposed to be my patient anyway. So I was signed up to deliver her baby, and I just did it a little bit earlier. So I think, there's little moments of gratitude and just feeling like you have made a difference. And sometimes patients will find you and email you and reach out to you and just tell you how much of an impact and a difference that you've made in their life. And I think that those are just reminders that you are providing the care that these patients deserve and needed in that moment. So, yeah.
And the biggest takeaway I learned from this is follow your passions. And as much as you were excited to talk about your passion, it really shows through and shines through. So thank you so much for you two for joining us. I really appreciate your time, and inevitably, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and letting you know today that just how amazing and great nurses are, and also how amazing the health career setting is as well.